What up, unicorns? Eric Abram here. If you didn't know the name, now you do. All right, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how I became a UX designer and some of the steps that I took or the things that I did to become where I am today as a user experience designer working for a big fintech company here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so, if you didn't know already, I was a graphic designer for 9, 10 years or so. I started my career out. I've actually got my degree in graphic design from Jacksonville State University. But so yeah, I started out as an intern at Disney World. As you guys all know, how I got 3 internships from Disney at Disney. You can check that video out. And so that's kind of how I started my career as a designer. Um, Going into the field, like I was very excited. I was very happy to be a graphic designer. I just wanted to just make things, make pretty things. And at some point in my life, I was just like, you know what? I really hate doing this graphic design thing. And I just did not enjoy it anymore. And so it was like 5 years into my career field, I was just like, I was just over it. And so I thought, maybe I need to like try to go back to school and get my master's degree, and maybe I can become a creative director or art director. And so I did that. I didn't finish my master's degree. I started my master's degree program at Full Sail University, and like 3 months into, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. I'm done. And I literally wasted $10,000, which I'm still paying for. So I literally wasted $10,000 to basically realize like, hey, this is not for me. But guys, at the same time, knowing that I knew these things, I still didn't pull the trigger. So how I discovered UX was I literally typed into Google, what can X graphic designers do? And user experience popped up. I was like, man, this is kind of interesting stuff here. So like, as just you look some background, is like, when I was a graphic designer, I would always question everything. So I would question like, yo, hey Eric, we need a flyer. I'm like, well, why do you need a flyer? Like, would an email be better? Like, I was always trying to find another way, and I would always have that pushback. And I always ask all these different questions. And so when I researched user experience and I found out, yo, asking questions is a part of the game, I was like, well, damn, I can ask all the damn questions I want now, without having any issue. And that to me was very exciting. And also the fact that, as we all know, in graphic design and design in general, it's all subjective, right? Everybody has their opinion, as we all know, as the graphic designers, you come up like, make the logo bigger, make this color red, and do this and do that. You went to school for a very long time, and to gather these informations and become like experts in color theory and typography and all different things, and to have somebody tell you like, hey, my wife didn't like that color red, so can you change it? Or, hey, my daughter doesn't like this font, can you make it Comic Sans because she thinks it's more playful? Like, who's the professional here, right? So it was just a weird thing to like be a professional in a career field, but yet feel like a tool in a toolbox for somebody else to manipulate. And you've all been there where maybe you haven't, but I have, where you have like your CD, your creative director, literally sitting right next to you, telling you where to click, how to do this. I'm like, do you want to do this? Do you want to make the flyer? Because I'm not your mouse, right? So those things have happened to me as a graphic designer. Um, they're not all negative, but it's just kind of my experience. As a professional, you don't really get treated as a professional, and then the commoditization of the graphic design field, where like Fiverr came up, Upwork, and they're just lowering the prices of graphic design. And it's not the website's fault, it's the people who go there and partake. So if you're one of those people, stop doing it. Anyway, I digress on that. So so 5 years into it, I was like, man, I really don't like this. It wasn't until another 4 years later to where I pulled the trigger and started my journey into this UX thing. And it's all thanks to my wife, who basically gave me the encouragement and just said, you know what, you've been very happy doing this. Why don't you just go ahead and do it? I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I've already been researching like different schools, different programs. So I stumbled upon this boot camp called Springboard. And it was between that, General Assembly, and some other ones. But the reason why I chose Springboard was because I felt like I could, still do work and still do Springboard. And it was cheaper, as I might add. And also they had the mentorship part of it. And then they also had to where, you could work on a real project with like, I think in like a nonprofit. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I get a mentor and I also get like a real world experience. That's going to be pretty cool. I could add it to my resume, update my LinkedIn, become more, valuable or popular, I guess. So while doing the program, I'm in it. And while I'm in it, I came to a point to where I just quit my job. Well, I quit my job before I started the program because that's when my wife gave me the okay, and I was freelancing at this one company. Not freelancing, but I was contracting this one company. I'll get back to why I mentioned that. So I contacted this one company, doing graphic design. You know what? I don't want to do this anymore, so I quit. Started doing Springboard. Now we're catching up. So I'm in the program, and I'm like, man, I don't have any income coming in. My wife is just taking care of me and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, maybe I should, do some contract work. So I started doing some contract work, doing graphic design. I'm going into their office and doing this project and stuff. I'm just like, man, I don't like this. Like, it just revalidated my hatred towards graphic design at this point. I was like, why am I torturing myself? And so I did that for like 2 weeks and I made about $7,000 in that 2 weeks. So that was like, it's pretty good, but I was freaking miserable. And so I did that and I was like, ugh. Then I did it to myself again when I did another contract job. Like, why am I keep taking these contract jobs? And so, and also while I'm doing those things and doing the contracting job and doing the UX boot camp, I'm also going to like different meetups and here in Atlanta, Georgia, meeting different people from all different walks of life. And so I went to this one meetup in the morning where I met this guy named Cliff. Cliff works at Salesforce, and we had a cool conversation after the meetup was over. And he explained to me and said, "Hey," now first of all, I was like complaining to him about like jobs and applying for the jobs and not feeling valued, blah blah blah, and other stuff. He was like, "Look, man, there are hundreds of people who are unqualified that apply to these jobs all the time. What is stopping you from applying to these jobs?" And that resonated with me so deeply. I was just like, this dude is right. Like, there are a bunch of people out there who should not be applying for these jobs, but they do anyway. And like, what's it to me to just do it anyway? So I did it. So I applied. So interesting fact was, while I'm still in the boot camp, I'm still I think I'm like 3-4 months into the boot camp. We'll talk about that in a minute. But with 3-4 months into the boot camp, I actually apply to the place where I was contracting at, right? This other company that I quit. I left on good terms. So they had an opening for a UI/UX position. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take Cliff's advice. I'm going to apply for this job. And so I applied for this job, and crazy thing was they freaking called me. It's like, hey, the recruiter called me. It's like, hey, interested in interviewing with you, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, what is happening right now? Is this real? Like, I haven't even completed my Springboard program. And like, I'm already getting job interviews. Like, that's insane. And so I applied for this job and I interviewed. The interview lasted like 15 minutes. I was like, man, this guy does not like me. I don't think I got the job. I came home to my wife. And I'm like, I don't think I got the job. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the interview lasted like 15 minutes. She's like, that's fine. And so like a week later, I get a call and say, hey, we got your job offer. I was like, what? Hey, I got a job offer. I'm a freaking UI UX designer. I didn't even complete my bootcamp program, which was insane. And so like, I got the job. I get in, I'm very green. Like it's a very new team. I'm learning. I'm asking all sorts of questions and all these different things, just trying to level up. And then I'm actually trying to go home and do the boot camp. And I just realized, like, man, is it really worth doing the boot camp? Even though I pay like $5,000 for it, but like, is it even really worth continuing to try to finish if I already got the job? Like, isn't the goal to get a job, not finish the boot camp and get a certification that nobody cares about? And that's what I did. I quit the boot camp. I never got a certification. I get hit up on LinkedIn all the time. They say, "Hey, Eric, I noticed you went to Springboard. How was it? Did you get your certificate? Blah blah blah." And guys, no, I did not get a certificate from Springboard because my goal of all this was to change careers and get a new job. That was my goal from that 5 years ago. Not to complete a boot camp to get a certification for just to put on my wall or put in my drawer to never, or even if it's a PDF for me to never look at it ever again. And so like, no, I didn't complete this boot camp, and I'm happy that I didn't, because trying to do the job that I was doing at work and then coming home and trying to do the boot camp, I feel like the boot camp was kind of holding me back a little bit, right? Because there's no better education than being on the job and getting thrown to the fire. That's the real education. This is not a vlog to bash on Springboard or anything like that, but it is a vlog to just let you guys know, like, you don't have to wait till your program is over to go out and apply for these jobs. If you have the knowledge and the capabilities, why would you? But also another funny story was, so I'm gonna come back to that story, but another funny, interesting thing was when I applied to that UI UX job, I didn't have anything UX in my portfolio. I didn't when I initially applied. And so what I did was, in like 3-4 days, I just created this random UX design type of application for jiu-jitsu. I'll probably post it up on the screen somewhere. And so people don't know, like, I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, 2-stripe. Holla. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 4 years now. And I love jiu-jitsu. And the reason why I wanted to create this app, because a lot of people fall off jiu-jitsu and never really make it to black belt. And I'm just trying to figure out, is there a way to, help people train longer to achieve that goal of being a black belt? So that's the reason why I created this application, was to try to see if, like, can we help people in a digital way to reach black belt? That's why I created this app. And it's something very passionate to me. So I created this thing, did all the cool stuff, and so I just posted it, right? That's kind of the only UX thing I had. And then I had my stuff from Springboard that I was working on, where like I did the observation, I did the surveys, I did the interviews. I just upload whatever I had. I didn't have a completed project or anything like that. Whenever I completed a certain part of that project, I uploaded it. Anytime I did like user research or anything like that, I uploaded it. So the time I went to get this job and I got the job, those are the only things I had, was that little jiu-jitsu thing I had on there, and then some random research. I didn't even have wireframes for the bootcamp project. I didn't have any hi-fi prototyping or mock-ups. All I had was just the research that I did, right? And that's it. And then that one jiu-jitsu thing. And so I say that to say this is like, don't wait till your program is over to create a portfolio for yourself. Because if you do that, it might be too late because somebody like me who just like uploading stuff as I go is ahead of you by a little bit, maybe a lot. Who knows? It depends on your capabilities of building a website. And I use WordPress. So with my website, that's it. I still don't even have a full product or a thing on my website to this day because I'm actually working on actual products. I mean, I can go back and do some fugazi stuff on the side to, make myself sharper and whatever. But I'm actually working on actual products, working with actual stakeholders, working with other actual UX designers. And so like, to me, I want to focus on bettering myself in my actual role and how do I progress in my company and be a better asset for my team. So that's what I work on now. So I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I make videos like this to help you guys out because when I help you guys out, I help myself as well because now I'm able to sharpen my blade and try to stay up to date with what I'm talking about and deliver that to you guys. And so that's kind of what I want to say is just like, look, do not wait to enter your program to start your portfolio or even to apply for jobs. I know there's a lot of people who out there who just want to wait till they get that certificate so they can kind of feel validated. And that's not the way to go. And, that company that I work for, that I interviewed for, got the job for, UI, UX for, I no longer work there anymore because I was able to take all the stuff that I learned and all the UI, UX and the knowledge and the working with the stakeholders and the soft skills and take that and leverage it to get a better job, right? Now I work at a really cool company, a very big team of like 12 UX designers. I'm on a team with a really good guy. He's a UX strategist, and that's the direction I want to go in versus just, making pretty things. I want to think more higher level. So when I got that job and I got tasked with him, I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy I wanted to be on a team with this whole time. Even in the interview process, I was like, I like this dude. He knows what he's talking about. He thinks more high level, and that's where I want to be. And so like, I was always told like from my mentors at Springboard, that's the one good thing about Springboard was to having the mentors there to help like, motivate you to do things. They weren't really there to teach you anything, but they taught me a lot of like soft skills and how to approach things and kind of like advice and career advice. I'm very appreciative of that. But that's kind of what happened was, one of my mentors said, your first job is not gonna be your last job. I'm like, this dude's right. And that's exactly what happened. So I was able to, leverage the things that I've learned in my actual job and get a better job that paid significantly a lot more money. But also money's not the biggest thing, but also being included and being appreciated, feeling valued is also very important as well. So make sure like when you get on that first team, make sure you have all those things in line, not just feel like, I just want the money. Like, no, you need to be on a team with open communication that make you feel valued. When you speak up, you're not shunned, you're not put down, you're heard. And that is what I have currently, and I enjoy it. I'm not saying anything negative about any other companies out there that I ever worked for. I've gained so much knowledge from all those companies. And I think what happens is that I tell graphic designers this, like when you go into these UX boot camps, they're teaching you a lot about research. And then the biggest portion is about design, right? The tactical stuff. As a designer, you kind of already have that. Like you have 50% of it done. Like, all you have to do is now is just learn the UX side of things and the research part of things. Whereas somebody who doesn't have a design background, they have to learn the whole 100%, right? They have to learn the UX, the research, and the actual visual design part. The part that most graphic designers already have. Typography, color theory, composition, all that good stuff. And so like, that's why most, not saying all, that's why most people with like a design background are pretty much more likely to get a UX job. Okay, I could be wrong, but that's my experience because sometimes when somebody new comes on the job, they want to be able to have that person like design screens, because to me, designing screens and visual mock-ups is kind of like lower tiers type of stuff, right? It's the stuff that comes after all the high level stuff that's already been done. It comes after the strategy. It comes after the research. It comes after the user experience. It comes after all that stuff. It comes after all the business decisions. And that's like the thing right here is like visual design. Let's make these things, everything that we talked about, and do it. Put in a visual mock-up, prototype it. Let's see what it looks like. And so for a new person, if you're able to come in and knock that part out real quick, boom, 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 kind of like what I did, man, you're valuable now. So now you're able to take that, learn from these UX people, learn from these strategists, learn from these business and stakeholders to try to level yourself up to where like you're no longer the guy who just builds products, who just makes pretty things. You're actually the guy that's like thinking about the user experience, thinking about the flow, thinking about the functionality, thinking about the full strategy, the full gamut. How's the business make money? How does UX come into play to help make that money? So that's kind of what this video is for. It's kind of a long video, but I just want to give a kind of a breakdown of how I became a UX designer. I always tell people this too, I kind of got lucky, God willing. I kind of got lucky, and also a little bit of hard work came into play where, I wasn't able to just get a job willy-nilly. I had to put in some work. I had to put in some efforts. I had to put in some time, and I had to put in some knowledge and some skill. And so that years of being a designer definitely helped me get into the door as an entry. But at the same time, I was able to, pick up things really quickly, learn really quickly, ask a lot of questions, take on more challenges, take on more tasks to try to level myself as fast as possible, because I knew where I wanted to be. And so with that, when an opportunity came for me to go to another company to do more high level stuff, I had to take it, guys. I just had to take it. And no harm, no foul to anybody else I've ever worked with. Like I said before, I have to look out for me, my family, my career. So that's what happened. So that's kind of how I came to be a UX designer in literally like 3 or 4 months. I didn't take the full 6 months that most of you probably will do. I always said, I was talking to this girl 2 or 3 days ago. Like, hey, don't wait. Get on it. Like, oh, my mentor told me to wait. Like, no. Don't listen to that person. That person's an idiot. You need to look out for you. He gets paid to be there to be your mentor. If you leave, he no longer has a mentee, so I don't think he gets paid for whatever. So, guys, I just want to say I really appreciate you all. Listen to me ramble. Listen to this video because it's some truths here, and it's a lot of things that people don't know what happened to me. And on the outside looking in, it seems like it kind of looks like I went through this whole Springboard Bootcamp. I got the certification. I did all those things that Springboard told me to do, like spam everybody on Facebook and LinkedIn and do all these weird things, go to these meetups and all this other stuff. Like, I've never gotten a job from a meetup. I've never gotten a job from spamming people on LinkedIn. I never got a job from spamming people on Facebook. I got a job because I knew where I wanted to go, and I just applied for these jobs. And that is it. I just went on these job boards. This doesn't work for everybody. This might not even work for you. But I went on these job boards. I just applied like everybody else. And somehow I got lucky. All right, guys. That's kind of the video. That's how I became a UX designer in literally 3 or 4 months. But I say that it probably took 10 years. So with that said, this is Eric Abram. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, and thank you for watching what I do here. I want to just say, like, hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel. More good things are to come. Make sure you comment below. people know, like when you make a comment, ask a question, I tend to answer it. All right. Also, make sure you check out the store. We have the merch, uglyunicorns.com. Check it out. Support me, support the channel. I support you. And also, check out freshuxer.com. Fresh UXer is a platform to where we connect fresh UXers like you with other people who have been in the field for a long time. It's mentors, mentor-mentee relationship. So I'm trying to get that started as well to help you guys out. So and also to help out other UX designers out there. Just the community in general. So make sure you check out freshuxer.com. Make sure you check out uglyunicorns.com. And make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on the channel. With that said, guys, I'm Eric Abram once again. And like I always say, don't just be a unicorn. Be an ugly unicorn. Peace.